So, Bajal, how was your results day?
So I checked STEP the night before.
Mm-hmm.
So at midnight the results got released, and I went online and checked them. And then in the morning, before I went into school, at about 8 o'clock, I checked my UCAS results to see if I'd got my firm or my insurance.
So is STEP on a different website that you have to go on?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's on the admissions testing service website
Yes.
sort of thing. You get given a unique ID when you sit the exam. So you have a login. So you just log in, they're released at midnight. So on the same day as your A-level results, it's just you're going to school at 9 a.m, but you can look at literally at midnight to see what you got in STEP. If you want to look, some people prefer to leave it until the morning, but I think it's probably a good idea just to know what's going to happen really the next day, so there's no big surprises. Yeah, kind of on that note, the UCAS thing's really good as well. If that's how you find it best to prepare and like calm nerves, then looking at UCAS is probably the best way to go about it.
Yeah. Then whichever way it goes, at least you know before you go to school. So if it's great, you can celebrate and you can tell your teachers the good news. And if it's not so good, you can go and ask for advice on how to handle the situation, where you can call, who you can contact, etc.
Yeah, what I'd say about results day is there's people who get exactly what they want, there's people who don't get quite what they want, and so, for example, some of my friends didn't get the results they wanted, so they took a year out, retook, and for some of them that's probably the best thing that they could have done. So they got to kind of reevaluate where they were at. Some of them even decided that actually doing computer science wasn't the right option for me, so it's good that they've had a year out to apply for another subject, so that sort of thing. So don't be too disheartened if you don't get what you get, because there's always other options, and I think taking a year out can actually be quite a good option sometimes, because if you go to university straight after school, although you'll be hitting the ground running and you'll be keeping up with everything, there might not be another opportunity to kind of explore the world for quite a while. So
Yeah. But on a more positive note, if you get a lot better than you expected, there's adjustment now. So, I mean, if you have other courses that you wanted to do, which you couldn't apply to before because you didn't get the predicted grades or you didn't get the offer, if you do get the grades that you want or you get better than you expected, you can use that service. Yeah, so the night before what we did is we looked at all the courses, not for me, but the night before we looked at all the courses that were available that they were interested in, had personal statements, also why we wanted to do different courses, because sometimes you may think that you want to do a course, but you might not be able to get it, but you can get something very similar which might have lower grades. So maybe look at why you want to do that course, have a look at whether it actually appeals to you, have all the numbers ready, for which universities you want to call. What else could you be doing? I mean, just make sure that you're well rested though, because it can be really stressful, especially if you don't get what you expected. So just make sure that you're in a good frame of mind, and if it helps, check before you go to school if you want to avoid having any sort of being really upset at school or anything like that.
but hopefully that shouldn't happen and you should be okay.
Yeah, I mean, more often than not, it works out. So I wouldn't worry too much.
Yeah, also I'll point out you can think you've done really dreadfully in exams and actually it's not so bad quite
Yeah.
often.
I mean, that really happened with STEP.
Yeah.
I thought I'd done a lot worse than I had. So don't worry, it will work out.
You tend to only remember the questions you think you got wrong, so that just naturally makes you think you've done worse than you have.